Jeez, YouTube, the family, everybody, what's good, what's going on? Man, I have a lot to share with you guys. That has happened over the past, week and a half or so. You know what I mean? I signed the lease, and at one point I was feeling like I made a mistake on the lease. So I'm going to share that with you guys. Also, now that I'm on the lease side, I already have repairs that I have to deal with on the truck. And thirdly, I went to a tire shop the other night, a Love's tire shop the other night, and this guy tried to whoop my ass. So I'm going to share everything that's been going on. I'm going to start from the leasing and break down and let you guys know what happened. So if you guys remember in my previous video, I was sharing my opinion, asking for you guys' opinion, what do you guys think about the leasing. Well, I knew from the jump before I came here that I was going to go lease, you know what I mean? But I wanted to run company first. So I wanted to see how the loads were dispatched, if I was getting the miles, if it was what they said it was. So basically I did that, and then a week before I went leasing, they called me from the maintenance department saying that I needed to get a PM done on my reefer, right? Let me roll these windows up so you guys can't really get no disturbance. They said I needed a PM done on my reefer. I need to get an oil change. So I was like, okay. So I had them route me to the terminal. When I got to the terminal, the maintenance manager told me like they didn't have to do that because Premier Leasing takes care of the reefer, and I could have just taken it to a Thermo King. I don't know why they had me there, but anyways. So with that being said, he said to go back to a Thermo King whenever I get a chance, one of the days in the week. So while I was there, he asked me, do you have any problems with the truck? Before I got there, actually, this truck had a check engine light, which I told them about, but the truck was operating fine, so they told me to keep going. Nonetheless, the tires on the trailer were wearing unevenly. So he ended up giving me 5 tires. He put 5 tires in the back of the trailer, sent me to a tire shop, got those changed. Then I came back, and then he sent me to the mechanic shop to get a PM done. He said, just let them give you a PM, and let them tell them that you got a check engine light, and let them figure it out. So I went there, they did the oil change, they greased the truck, they top up all the fluids, and then I forgot what the problem was, what the guy said what the problem was, and he ended up figuring it out, and they did a regen on the truck. So I pulled him aside and I asked him, because nobody knew I was going to go lease or anything. So I asked him, what does he think about the truck? Is the truck okay? He's like, yeah, the truck is pretty solid. There's no codes, there's no fault. And the truck drives pretty fine since I've had it, you know what I mean? So he's like, yeah, so that kind of gave me a little bit of assurance. Alright, nonetheless, what I did now, I went back to the terminal, waited until the pay period ended, and then I signed my lease. Went over the terms and everything, and then I got my first load. You know what I mean? It was a good run. It was a shorter run, maybe like 1,500 miles or so, and it was paying like $3,000. You know what I mean? When I did the calculation, it was paying really good. So with that being said, I got a good head start. Now what I also did was I filled both of my tanks, my fuel tanks, while I was on the company side, because I knew I was going to switch over to the lease. So I filled it both, so it wouldn't affect me, it wouldn't come out of my pocket. And then I got 5 new tires on the trailer. That was all of this was done when I was company, and I got a PM done while I was company also, so it didn't come out of my pocket. So I got a fresh head start. So I got a good load the first time. All right, the second load I was supposed to pick up, now my dispatch called me and asked me for a favor, and I agreed to it before I even asked her what the favor was. That was the mistake I made. I recommend you guys don't make that mistake. So she said she needed a favor. She wanted me to go pick this load up in Texas. Now I was in Louisiana. It was like 200 miles deadhead, and then the load was only paying like $1,600. And then on top of that, I had to babysit the load over the weekend take my 34 to deliver it Monday, and then she would try to find me another load to bring the gross up. And I ended up just telling her, after I agreed to it, I ended up telling her that nah, that's not gonna work. You know what I mean? Because the fact that I just started leasing, like, I can't deal with that right now. You know what I mean? I just couldn't do it. So fast forward to by the time I got empty on the first load, I called her back and I said, hey, I'm empty now. What do you got for me? I still got 7 hours. She's still mentioning the same load. So it kind of pissed me off, and I had to like call her. We didn't argue, or it's not like I was feeling like I needed a new dispatch or anything like that. But I was like explaining, like, it's like, I'm not saying that I can't do you a favor, or you know what I mean, or whatever, but like, I just started leasing. I really can't do, you know, take a risk like that right now. You know what I mean? And she's like, oh, you know what, it's okay, I was trying to help somebody out and it's just not working in any of us favor, so you know, don't worry about it. And so that's done. So it kind of had me feeling like, damn, as soon as I signed the lease, is things going bad or whatever the case was, you know what I mean? And then so I ran a load to Utah. She got me a nice load up to Utah. Then I came back down, and then when I came back down, she called me first, because I actually did this video like 4 times, and my previous phone was just messing up. I don't know what was going on with the audio, so I ended up getting a new phone, just so I can stay on top of my videos. Because if you guys notice, it's been like a week and change since I haven't posted anything, so I was having a struggle with the phone. So I ended up changing my phone. So I got back down. She first called me and told me she had a short run. It was like 1,500 miles. No, it's actually 1,400 miles, and it was paying $4,000. I was like, shit, that's really good. Then to the end of it, she ended up getting 4,900, which is the load that I'm on right now. So that's paying really well, and you know, it's gonna put my gross up to about 8 and change by the time I end this pay period, if everything goes good, which is really good. And I'm staying on the reefer side because it gives me more flexibility coming out of Florida, because I live all the way down in South Florida, you know what I mean? So it's 78% off. It's going, my projected amount is going to be 8,500 so far for by the time the pay period cuts off, and that's going to be 78% of that amount. That's what I basically get minus my fuel. Now I will say this about the fuel. This is what I've been doing, and I want you guys to let me know if you guys think this makes sense, or if I'm just being cheap, or whatever the case is. I downloaded this app on my phone basically, and it tells me where fuel, the cheapest price for fuel is. So the other day when I was in Louisiana, I ended up going to a Texaco, and I paid $1.67 per gallon, and as opposed to the pilots, the pilots were $2.61, I believe. $2.61. They're about $2.45. I think $2.45 if you're paying cash, and like $2.60 if you're, or $2.55 if you're paying on credit. You know what I mean? Now the fuel card that VL Trucking gives you, you don't get a discount with it. It's just more convenient, so you can have fuel if you don't have the money. So I've been buying fuel out of my pocket, just to get it cheaper at these smaller locations, because like, come on, $1.67 or $1.61 compared to $2.50, it's a big difference. You get a lot more gallons with that, you know what I mean? So that's what I've been doing now. I agree, you're not always going to be able to do that, because sometimes you have hazmat loads and you can't really detour out of your road, so it's not going to be possible. But I will say it did help out, because when I left from Louisiana and I got all the way up to Nevada, the diesel prices were literally almost $3 per gallon. You know what I mean? So luckily I did fill up, but I had to get more fuel by the time I get over there. But I've been also fueling accordingly. I don't fuel like just go somewhere and fill my tank up. What I do, I calculate my miles. So if I'm going like 500 miles, my truck averages about 7 miles per gallon, but I calculated at 6. So what I do is I calculate 6 miles divided by 6 miles per gallon divided by the amount of miles on the trip. So it'll be 6 times 6 divided by 500, and then whatever the amount is, that's the amount of gallons that I put for the trip, and I probably put like 10 extra gallons or so just for like hills, or if I run into any emergency or any delays, you know what I mean? So that's how I've been basically fueling. And I learned this from the Trans Am lease drivers, because the leasing over there is so bad that you gotta cut it close on everything, you know what I mean? You gotta cut it really close on everything over there at Trans Am. Some of these guys, they make it work for them. I don't know how they do it, you know what I mean? But it's just, in my opinion, it's just all around not such a good lease, that you have to cut everything close. So basically, I use some of those tips and tricks, and I never leased over there. I just know people that used to lease there or whatever, but I use some of those tips and tricks, and it saves me money back in my pocket. Also, when I went to the Texaco, what happened was, they had a promotion for every $100 you spend, you get $5 back. So I ended up getting $10 back to spend in store. And what I did with that $10 was, they had the box DEF, the Husky blue DEF, and I ended up buying, I think it was $23, and I ended up paying $13 for the box of DEF. So that was good. So I saved some money there. Basically, you know, go and keep running it like that. It costs you money up front to just buy fuel out of pocket, but like I said, when I calculate the savings, I'm saving like $50 here, $40 there, just because I'm not fueling at these places like the Pilots and the Loves. Now I will say this also, I still do fuel at the Loves and the Pilot. I'll still put in like 50 gallons or so just to get my shower credit, so I don't have to pay for a shower, you know what I mean? Even though I still would save more money if I end up paying for shower and just fueling at these smaller locations. But I'm still gonna, I'm not because you can make a lot of money with the leasing or whatever the case is. I'm not just trying to make a lot of money. I'm trying to maximize the amount of money that I can make with this leasing, you know what I mean? Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if you guys think I'm being cheap, or I'm doing too much, or let me know in the comment section what you guys think. And for everybody that has subscribed to the channel also, thank you very much. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Comment down below, let me know what you guys think, you know what I mean? There's so much things that's been going on. I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm going to do another section with the repairs that I was talking about on the truck, and also the Love's tire guy that I got in the altercation with, and what happened with that. It's been so much stuff going, and I guarantee you, because I've done this video like 10 times already, I guarantee you there's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm missing that I wanted to talk about, and because I did it so many times, I keep forgetting. And then as soon as I upload this video, most likely, you know, I'm going to remember, okay, that's what I wanted to say. But most likely I put that in the other video, so just look out for that next video. And for those of you guys, if you made it this far, I'm gonna give you guys a bonus, and this is for motivational purposes only. After my deductions and everything, after they take everything, I'm looking at about in the middle fives, in the high 5s to 6 for my first week of leasing, you know what I mean? So far so good, and I'll see you guys in the next one.